Doot Doot. Posted by you/SeanBZA. Only cut down part of the tree. So, thought I would tell you of a story of malicious compliance on the part of my father. Years ago we lived in a house, on a large plot. House built up on the front third, leaving a massive rear garden, and in there at the bottom was a very large avocado pear tree. Large tree, a good number of years old, and bore some pretty large pears every year. However, it had a split trunk, and also was tall, around 1.5 m high, taller than the telephone cabling that ran along the bottom of the property, and which also ran through this tree to the house. Dad liked the avocado pears, though, because of the height of the tree, they only grew at the top, so he made a 6 m long pole with a net, the swimming pool net pole with a broken net attached, in order to attempt to get at least a few undamaged. But this only got the lower third of the tree, and the top fruit would fall down in the wind, shattering on the ground. They also fell on the neighbor's property, and his roof had received a few holes from these missiles landing on it. But the neighbor and my father were firm friends, so would fix the holes together, but were getting fed up of this tree. So one day they both confronted my mother, and insisted they trim the tree, and she eventually agreed. She insisted that they only cut down half the tree, and they both agreed to this. So, Saturday comes, Dad has rented a chainsaw, they have a nice sharp blade, a lot of strong rope, and the telco tech there, to repair the phone line, again, when the tree snaps it. The neighbor and my dad talk about this job, and, as mother is out shopping, they come to the conclusion, along with the telco tech, that the best solution is to obey, and cut half the tree down. Unanimously they come to the conclusion the best half is the bottom half, and I am sent up the tree, lightest person, and we had the telco ladder to get me up 6 m to where the trunk was still thick enough to be useful, as avocado wood is not the strongest wood, and even very thick branches will break easily. So, rope attached, chainsaw at the ready, and we all pull on the rope at a long distance, while the trunk has the notch cut, and the rear cut through till the timber moment. Fell roughly where we wanted it, just flattened a few banana stems that were in the way, but those would regrow anyway pretty fast. Telco tech sets ladder again, and I attach rope again, and again tree fall in the right direction, this time tasking the phone line with it. Telco tech splices in a new section, and goes up the pole to connect to the pole again, and leaves. Then we got the task of moving the chunks as they were cut, making a few piles of leaves and twigs for burial in the ground, and a few piles of wood that was left to dry as firewood. Dads and the neighbor cracked open some beers, to celebrate this occasion as they finished up. Then Mom came home, and walked through to the back. She came down shouting what had they done, she had agreed to only half the tree, and they had cut it off at knee height. As one the neighbor and Dad replied, with big grins, that they had indeed only taken down half the tree, and had decided the bottom half was the best part to remove, as it was easiest. Not their fault the top did not stay up there. Banana shrubs grew back fast, and we simply got avocado pears from the neighbor, as he had a few small trees that you could pick from easily, and we gave bananas from the harvest we had. His roof stayed intact, no more half-kilo missiles punching through the asbestos sheeting. Posted by you/oblongleko. Say I'm going slow. I'll show you slow. This is my stepdad's story, he's a charter bus driver. I'm in the US, and something to note about speed limits on the freeway where I'm at is that you sometimes have slower speed limits for semi trucks and buses. Usually something like 70 miles per hour for regular vehicles, 60 miles per hour for regular cars. Also the standard is that most people go about 5 over the limit. This time Dad was driving a college team to and from their event. The coach was being a bit of a jerk about getting there and home on time. But Dad just shrugged it off as he knew he was going to make it there with time to spare. A couple days later he saw that he was scheduled to take the same team next week. He emailed the coach to get some of the details on the trip. Pickup, meals, equipment, etc. The coach sent a snarky email back with the details and some additional language along the lines of, "And can we drive the speed limit this time? Last time you were below the entire way." The coach also CC'd his boss. Dad responded professionally that he goes the speed limit. Coach responded that when they've had other drivers they all did 70 on the freeway. So now boss is pissed since all his drivers just got thrown under the bus for speeding. Dad's pissed as he's catching flack from his boss, other drivers, and the coach. Other drivers are pissed as well as the boss is now on their case for speeding. Boss makes it clear. No speeding. So Sad shows up with a printed copy of the regs to pick up the team. Shows the coach where it says buses obey the truck speed limit. Then proceeds to drive the exact speed limit the entire way. Posted by you/green_twin. Share with the meeting why you're laughing. I work for a large manufacturing organization that has a penchant for mature hierarchy. As such, we have a lot of meetings for a lot of managers, and the whole enterprise would be better off if we had less of each. One such meeting I must attend, the area-specific morning stand-up, is really just an ego-stroking exercise where the second level up manager makes his first-line managers and support staff sit in a meeting for an hour. We could automate most of this meeting, and several other areas of our organization try to varying degrees, but then this feudal lord of management wouldn't get to see his fiefdom every day. I digress. It is a low, to no, value meeting, and as such I generally sit in my corner and quietly read social media, the news, or similar. But today, I messed up. I was reading one of my favorite Reddit stories, for a pick-me-up to deal with another day of drudgery, and I couldn't hold in all my chuckles. Lord Manager stopped the meeting to demand what was so funny, and wouldn't let me bow out gracefully. He insisted on getting the full scoop, and that is how I was allowed to tell the swamps of Dagobah to a score of senior manufacturing personnel, managers, leads, support staff, before most people ate breakfast. It was glorious and many unhappy faces were seen around the meeting room. Several breakfasts were skipped too. If you have not read the story, you can find it with a simple Google search or at https://www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/comments/x041d/comments/c5066p2. Warning, graphic content, bodily fluids, medical setting. Posted by you/just keep it quiet. Write only the exact times. Sure thing. On mobile and not a native English speaker. As a background, at the production lines whenever something has to be cleaned or changed we have to write the duration, start time and end time, into the log. The problem is, whenever a disturbance, repair, or maintenance lasts longer than 30 minutes we have to relay that a supervisor and tell them so that they can pass it on to everyone in management. Usually we just write 30 minutes for everything that isn't important to avoid reporting to our boss. We always report the important changes, but for things like cleaning, it just seems like unnecessary work for everyone involved. So a few weeks ago my boss came down to the shop floor and we had to change a filter at the line. Now, this isn't hard to do, but it takes a long time to disassemble the necessary parts, change the filter and then reassemble everything. We finished everything in 40 minutes and continued the production. We went ahead and wrote 30 minutes into the log and our boss came over and was furious after seeing the book and how we deceived him and falsified documents with our work. The logbook wasn't official like contracts or protocols, it was simply a recommendation by the management to help keep an eye on problems that got integrated into our working process, so everyone naturally just does it since it's been around for 5 years now. He demanded that we write the exact times form now on and have everyone present sign on them. Before we could even ask him if that included everything, he was already out the door. So we did. Whenever we cleaned anything we recorded the time and then send a notification to our boss and brought him the paperwork that involved where you had to justify why whatever you did took over 30 minutes. He then had to mail everything to the floor manager and his colleagues. Every time. So even if we just cleaned the floor next to the machines we reported to him. The facility is roughly 10,000 m2, so cleaning can take a while. Within 2 weeks he came down to the shop floor to tell us to do it like we did before, since his boss started to inquire about the increase of reports and the unnecessary paperwork he was sending.